Hi guys, welcome back to Nita Crochets. My name is Anita. Today we are going to be making the lace up shorts, and then later I will be dropping a tutorial for this lace up top. So these shorts are very easy to make, okay, and I'm going to be sharing adjustments for all sizes. Also, the written pattern for them is available on my Etsy, coffee shop and Ravelry. So let's get into the tutorial and see what we have. So here I have this robin. It's chunky. Actually, this is seal. It is chunky, 100% acrylic, and this is size 4 yarn, okay? So, and it's 100 grams. I'm going to be working with a 6mm hook. So to start off, I'm going to just get my yarn, my strand of yarn, and I'll make a slip knot. Now we are going to work chains that are in position to stretch out to meet our hips, right? For example, if your hip measurements is 40 inches, then you are going to work chains and put them onto your tape measure and stretch it out to meet 40 inches, because I want our shorts to snag, like I want them to be body hugging and fit well, but then do not overstretch your cord to, you know what I mean, like let it be in position to stretch out to meet the hip measurements, but comfortably, not like to really like, So yes, that's what you're going to do. So just work your chains until you have the chains that you need. Then we can get started. I'm working a size small, and I personally worked around 80 chains. They were just they were just enough for me. I don't know about you guys, but yes, you can do whichever number of chains that you choose to do, for as long as they can stretch out to go through your hips. So once we have all our chains complete, we are going to get back to our very first chain stitch without turning our cord, and we shall work a slip stitch into the very first chain stitch that started these chains, right? So in this way we create a ring, just like that. You work a slip stitch, and then from there we are going to chain 2, and into this very first chain stitch we are going to work a half double crochet. Then we shall get into the next chain stitch and work 1 half double crochet. So what we are going to just keep doing is working 1 half double crochet into every chain stitch all the way around until we come to the end of your row. Now you need to make sure that the number of half double crochet stitches that you have on your row is equivalent to the number of foundation chains that started the project. So just work 1 half double crochet into every stitch all the way around until you get to the end of your row, and I'm going to meet you there to show you what to do. So once we are at the end of the row, we are going to work a slip stitch. We are going to work a slip stitch into the second chain stitch of the 2 chains that started the row. I'm just making sure that I did not turn twist my work. Yes, just like that. Now we shall chain 2 and turn our work, and we are going to work 1 half double crochet into this very first stitch. Continue working 1 half double crochet into the next stitch and the next, right? So even for this row, literally there is nothing that we are going to change apart from working 1 half double crochet into every stitch all the way around until we come to the end of our row and work a slip stitch into the second chain stitch of the 2 chains that started the row. So what we did previously on the previous row is exactly what we are doing on this row. So I'm going to let you guys work your row until the end of it, and I'm going to come back and show you what to do after you have finished your row. Now once you come to the end of your row and you have it look like this, You're now going to count all the stitches that you have on your whole entire row and divide the number by 4. Now, starting from where we just ended our work, you count the result that you got towards the left and mark that stitch. Then also count the result that you got from where we ended our work towards the right and mark the stitch. For example, if I have 80, 80 divided by 4 is 20. So I count 20 from where I ended my row towards the left and mark the 20th stitch, and then I count 20 once again towards the right and mark the 20th stitch, right? Just like that. But then I am going to be changing where I have put my stitch markers because I want my lace closer to the front. If I put it here, it's going to draw to the back, and that's not what I want. So from here, remember I've turned my work to the front. I want my ending point to be at the center of the back. So from where I last marked my stitches, I'm going to count 5 towards the front, right? You count 5 stitches towards the front and mark that stitch. Also on this side, you count 5 stitches towards the front and mark that stitch. Are you seeing what I'm doing, guys? I hope you guys just don't get confused at this point. It is up to you, honestly, to leave your stitch markers where I had left them initially, but I wanted to draw my lace up closer to the front. If you leave them where we had left them, remember the bum pulls. Okay, the bum is kind of bigger than our front area, right? So it would pull your lace up to the back. So your lace up will kind of go further more to the back than further more to the side of your hip or to the front. So for me to have those extra 5 stitches added is just to get my lace up closer to the side of my hip rather than the bum pulling it to the back. I hope that is a clearer explanation. And if you want your lace up more to the front, you can add up to, you can maybe count maybe like up to 10 stitches towards the front. So your lace up will be like at the center or midway your thigh, like running midway your thigh, right? Okay, so I hope I explained that really, really well. So now you will chain 2, turn your work and work 1/2 double crochet into every stitch, just like I'm doing. And you're going to work this 1/2 double crochet into every stitch all the way until you have 2 stitches, left to get to the marked stitch, right? So just work 1/2 double crochet into every stitch, just like you can see, until you have 2 stitches left to get to the marked stitch. So I'm going to let you guys just work your 1/2 double crochets until you are there, then I'll get back and show you what to do. So now, like you can see, I am having 2 stitches to the marked stitch, like you can see. So what's going to happen here is I'm going to chain 1 and skip the next stitch, then get into that next stitch after that and work a 1/2 double crochet. Then I will work 1/2 double crochet into the marked stitch, then work 1/2 double crochet into the next stitch, right? I'm just putting this away, out of my way. So into the next stitch I'll work a 1/2 double crochet, right? Then I will chain 1, skip 1, work another 1/2 double crochet into that next stitch. Then from here I'm going to continue working 1/2 double crochet into every stitch until I have 2 stitches left to get to the next marked stitch. So just work your 1/2 double crochet into every stitch until you have 2 stitches to the next marked stitch right there. That's what I'm going to meet you and show you what to do. Here we are. We have 2 stitches to the marked stitch. So what we do is we chain 1, skip 1, get into the next stitch and work 1/2 double crochet. Then into the marked stitch we work 1/2 double crochet. and then 1/2 double crochet into the next stitch. Then from here we are going to, I made a mistake, guys. Yeah, so from here we are going to chain 1 and skip 1. So I'll just take that out. I had made a mistake. Okay, so we chain 1, right, skip 1, get into the next stitch and work a 1/2 double crochet. So basically we have created 2 pairs of lace holes where our lace is going to run. Okay, so from here we are just going to work 1/2 double crochet into every stitch until the end of the row. Then you work a slip stitch into the second chain stitch of the 2 chains that started the row, right? So let me meet you guys there. Here we are at the end of our row. So to start our next row, we are going to chain 2 and turn our work. Now I intend to have 2 normal rows or 2 rows of just plain 1/2 double crochets without any lace holes or anything. So for this row, that's exactly what I'm going to do. So I'll chain 2, turn my work 1/2 double crochet into every stitch all the way around. So by saying working 1/2 double crochet into every stitch all the way around, I mean that even when you get to the chain 1 space of every lace hole that we crocheted on the previous row, we are just going to work 1/2 double crochet into that chain 1 space and then continue with 1/2 double crochet into every stitch until the next chain 1 space, work 1/2 double crochet into that chain 1 space, then continue with 1/2 double crochet into every stitch. So basically that's what you are going to do for this whole entire row until you come to the end of it. And once at the end of it, you're going to work a slip stitch into the second chain stitch of the 2 chains that started the row, right? So let me just let you guys go all the way past this. I'm just going to go on with this until I get to that chain 1 space for the lace holes, so that I just show you how to maneuver that. I know some of you already know, but let me just show some of you that didn't understand what I said when I said it, so that you can help yourselves with the next pair of lace holes. So yes, when you get to the chain 1 space, you work 1/2 double crochet into it, then you continue with 1/2 double crochet into every stitch. So to know that you're on track, you need to make sure that you have the very same number of stitches as your foundation chains that you worked when you were starting this project. So let me meet you at the end of the row, then show you what to do for the next row. So without wasting time, let me just say this so that you can just do what you have to do. You are going to work your 1/2 double crochets until the end of the row, making sure that you work 1/2 double crochet into every chain gap until the end. So you just repeat this, working 1/2 double crochet into every stitch until we have a total of 3 rows from our row of lace holes, right? So you're literally meant to work 2 more rows after the row that you were working previously. Just like you can see in the picture here, I have 1, 2, 3 rows from my last row of the lace holes, right? From there I got 3 rows, right? As you can see right here, it is 3 rows from here. So that's what I was meaning, that you should work 2 more rows of just working 1/2 double crochet into every stitch all the way around. Now what's going to happen is I am going to move my stitch markers into the stitches that are in line with the previously marked stitch. Or if that has confused you, you're just going to do the very same thing we did previously. Count the stitches that you have on your row, divide by 4, count from our starting point towards the left, and then add 5 more stitches to the front, just like we did when we were marking our stitches the very first time we started to mark stitches. But if you don't have the time to do the mathematics, just move them into the stitch that is in line with the previously marked stitch. That's what I do. So to start this row, we are going to chain 2, turn our work 1/2 double crochet into every stitch until we have 2 stitches left to the marked stitch. So I'm going to let you work your half double crochets until you have 2 stitches to the marked stitch, right? That's where I'm going to meet you guys, then show you what to do. Here we are. I have 2 stitches to the marked stitch. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to chain 1 and I'm going to skip that stitch and then work a half double crochet into the next stitch, right? Then I'm going to work 1 half double crochet into the marked stitch, and once I am done with that, I am now going to work 1 half double crochet into the next stitch, right? Then I will chain 1, skip 1, work a half double crochet into the next stitch, and here I am going to now continue working 1 half double crochet into every stitch until I have 2 stitches to the next marked stitch. So I'm going to let you guys do this all the way until you are 2 stitches to the next marked stitch. And now what you will do is when you get to having 2 stitches to the next marked stitch, you will just do the very same thing we have done here. You will chain 1, skip 1, work a half double crochet in that stitch, then a half double crochet into the marked stitch, and then a half double crochet in the next stitch. Then you will chain 1, skip 1, continue working 1 half double crochet into every stitch all the way around until the end of your row. Now after that, you will do what we did previously. After working a row of the lace holes, we follow that with 3 normal rows, right? So after the end of this row, you will just have to chain 2, turn your work 1 half double crochet into every stitch for the next 3 rows. And this is what you're just going to keep repeating. You work 1 row which has the lace holes, moving the stitch markers from where you had marked into the stitch that is in line with your previous, marked stitch. And then you work 3 normal rows that just have 1 half double crochet in every stitch, and you just do this repeatedly until you have about 8 inches of length, or 10 inches if you're working for sizes large, but sizes small and medium, at least about 8 to 8.5 inches of length. Just like you can see here, I have about 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. I have about between 14, 16 rows. Yeah, and that's what you should have as well. So that's what I worked. If you're working for sizes large, you may go up to like 20 rows, or 18 rows. But now I am going to be working my crotch area. So to do that, I'm going to chain to turn my work, into this very first stitch. I'm struggling to place my hook in there. So into that very first stitch, you are going to work 4 half double crochets all in that very same stitch, right? Then I forgot to mention that you need to first mark your center. Okay, so to mark your center, you are going to count the number of stitches that you have on your previous row and divide that number by 2. For example, I have 80. Dividing 80 by 2 gives me 40. So starting from the second chain stitch from the hook, I'm going to count 40 stitches. Starting from the second stitch, because the first one is where I have put my 4 half double crochets. So starting from the second stitch, I'm going to count 40 and mark the 40th stitch, right? Keep in mind that we also have to leave the stitches in which we work our lace up holes in, all right? So as much as we are marking the crotch area, we also have to keep in mind that the lace up holes have to go on. So don't lose count of your lace up hole rows just because you're working your crotch area. Now what's happening here is I'm working 1 half double crochet into every stitch until I get to that marked stitch. I had already marked my center. Like you can see, I have the holes going on right there and I have the center right there. So what's going to happen for me, I am using my eye to to see the stitch that is in line with my previous lace up holes, so I will not lose it. But if you feel like you may get confused, please make sure that you have marked the stitches in which your lace up holes have to go, so that you don't forget about the holes and focus on the crotch, right? But for me, I already know where I have to place my holes, because I can just look at the previous hole and know which stitch has to have the hole on this row, right? So I'm working 1/2 double crochet into every stitch until I get to the stitch that is in line with my previous lace up hole. Like you can see, I had kind of passed it by a few stitches. If you look closely, I am counting from my previous lace up hole and looking for the stitch that is in line with it. So when I find it, I will chain 1, skip 1, work 1/2 double crochet into the next stitch, then 1/2 double crochet in the next, 1/2 double crochet into the next, then chain 1, skip 1, work 1/2 double crochet into the next stitch. You can see that my holes are in line with the previous holes, and that's what I was saying. So from here, we work 1/2 double crochet into every stitch until the marked stitch. And now here we are at the marked stitch. So what we do is we yarn over and work 4 half double crochets into the marked stitch. All the 4 half double crochets go into the marked stitch, right? So once we have all 4 half double crochets in the marked stitch, we are now going to work 1/2 double crochet into every stitch, all the way until we get to the stitch that is in line with our next lace up hole. Okay, so work 1/2 double crochet into every stitch. Like I said, guys, please keep your stitch markers into the stitches that are in line with your previous hole, so that you don't lose count of it. As you can see, I'm going to work my half double crochets until that stitch right there, and then I'll chain 1, skip 1, work 3 half double crochets in the next 3 stitches, then chain 1, skip 1, work a half double crochet into that stitch, then continue with 1/2 double crochet into every stitch all the way around until the end of the row, then work a slip stitch. Okay, so that's what you are going to do to complete this row. It's just having in mind that we have lace up holes to do, but other than that, since we have worked our 4 half double crochets for our crotch, I'll meet you at the end of the row. Now guys, as you can see, this is how my work looks like. So what I have done is I have moved my stitch markers from the previously marked stitch and put them into the second half double crochet stitch of the 4 half double crochets we worked at the points which we marked as our center points, right? So move your stitch markers into the second half double crochet stitch of the 4 half double crochets we marked at the centers of our row, right? So what's going to happen here is we are going to chain to turn our work, and once we turn our work, we are going to work 1/2 double crochet into every stitch all the way around until we get to the marked stitch, which is the other side where the blue stitch marker is. So just work 1/2 double crochet. It's going to be a long ride. Work 1/2 double crochet all the way until the marked stitch, which is the blue stitch marker on the other side. That's why I'm going to meet you guys and show you what to do. Now here we are. I am at my marked stitch. So what's going to happen here is I am going to yarn over and insert my hook into the marked stitch, and I'll work a half double crochet. Then I will work my second half double crochet all in that very same stitch, and from here you're going to chain 10, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So once you have all 10 chains, you are now going to cross over to the marked stitch on the opposite side, okay, which is right there. And here you will insert your hook into that marked stitch. You will yarn over, insert your hook into that marked stitch, and there you will work a half double crochet. And then you will work a second half double crochet into that very same stitch. Then from here you're just going to work one half double crochet in the next stitch, then work a slip stitch into the second chain stitch of the 2 chains that started the row. So right there you close off your row. Now you can see that we have divided our project, which was clearly a skirt. Now we have a left and right leg. I'm just going to take you through on what to do for the next leg before I just show you how to work your right leg, right? Now you need to keep in mind that our lace holes have to go on and on all the way down, right? So when I let you guys work the rest of the project on your own, keep in mind that the lace holes come after 3 rows of just plain half double crochets. Now as you can see, when you look at our work, we still have 2 more rows to go before we can introduce our next lace up holes on this leg, right? So to start our rows for this left leg, what we are going to do is we are going to chain 2 and turn our work. Here we are going to work one half double crochet into every chain stitch. Okay, so that means we are going to get into that very first stitch, we work a half double crochet, then we shall get into the next stitches, working one half double crochet into every stitch and every chain stitch all the way until the end of the row. And even for the next row, we are just going to do the same thing, because remember, we are working 3 rows of just one half double crochet into every stitch before we work our next row of the lace up holes, right? So just find your way into every stitch and every chain stitch and just work one half double crochet in there until you come to the end of your row. Then you will work a slip stitch into the second chain stitch of the 2 chains that started the row. So let me meet you guys there. I'm really struggling because I tightened my chains a little bit, but yes, just work your way into every stitch and I'll meet you there, show you what to do. So I'll just tell you what to do for your next rows. You'll just keep going around like I said. On the next row, we are just going to work our half double crochets as we should. Now the next row is where we need to introduce our lace up holes. So when working on the row after the next row, right, you need to keep in mind that your lace up holes have to be added to it. Even for the rows after that, you need to keep in mind that the lace up holes come out after 3 rows of just normal half double crochet. So I will let you guys work your left leg until you get the length of the shorts that you desire. And now I'm just going to work for you the very first row of the right leg so that you guys can know what to do and just repeat exactly what you will have gotten on the left leg and feed it into the right leg to match the length that you have on on this side of the leg. So let me just work this one row that starts this right leg. Then everything else you're just going to copy and paste from what I have told you to do for your left leg. So for the right leg, when we are starting, you're just going to find a point not far from our previously marked stitch at the crotch area, and you will insert your hook in there and pull through our yarn, turn our work right. I don't know if I had turned the work, I don't recall, but yes, I think I had. So what you do is you work one half double crochet into that very first stitch, and as you can see, I am at the marked stitch, so I'm just going to get into that marked stitch. Let me just get the stitch markers out of my way. So I'm going to put them aside. Now into that which was the marked stitch, you are going to work 2 half double crochets in there, and then you will work a slip stitch into the next half double crochet, which was worked when we were worked before we worked the 10 chains for the bridge, right? So it is that half double crochet, which was the second half double crochet, that we work our slip stitch into. This is to help us join our work, or join this crotch area bit of it, so that it turns out looking like the 4 half double crochets we worked on the previous row that started the crotch area. All right, so once you have that, now we are going to work 1 single crochet into every stitch, into the opposite side of every chain stitch that we worked for the bridge, right? So we are working on the opposite side of those 10 chains. So you work 1 single crochet into every chain stitch, and you need to make sure that, oh yeah, we work 1 single crochet into every chain stitch, but we do this until the 9th chain stitch. So basically we work 9 single crochets, okay? And once we are getting to the 10th single crochet, what we shall do is we shall work an incomplete single crochet. Let me just show you guys. Now once you are at the 9th, to get into that 10th stitch, you will work that incomplete single crochet, then yarn over, cross over to the marked stitch right there, and insert your hook, pull through a loop. So you have 4 loops on your hook. Now yarn over and pull through all the 4 loops on your hook, okay? Then yarn over, work a half double crochet into the marked stitch once again. Now this gives us the very same result that we had here, where we attached our 2 single crochets with working a slip stitch and made it look like there are 4 single crochets, just like we did when we were starting the crotch area. I hope you guys understand this trick. I really do hope that you understand it. If you have worked my tutorials for the shorts, you know it by now. So from here we just resume with working 1 half double crochet into every stitch all the way around until the end of the row. Then we work a slip stitch into the chain 2 that started the row. So for my right leg, I just needed to show you guys how to, work along the bridge before you start working these other rows that you need to work as you have worked for your left leg. So everything you do on your left leg is exactly what you copy and paste onto the right leg until you have desired length for your shorts. So at this point, we just need to know how to work our waistline. Now at this point, like you can see, I have worked my rows, and this is how my shorts look like so far. I just worked a few rows, about 7 from the crotch, and this is what I have. Also for my borderline, I have worked scallops on it, but it's up to you. You can leave it plain, or you can work something or any border design that you wish. But this is how your shorts should look like. So at this point, I need to show you guys how to work your waistband. To work the waistband, we are going to turn our work and find the back where the seam line is. And here we are going to insert our hook in there, and we shall chain 6. You can chain more than that given how wide you want your waistband to be, but I usually chain 6. Okay, unless I want something really, really small, but if I don't, yeah, I usually chain 6 or 5. Now into the second chain stitch from the hook, we are going to get into our hook, get our hook in there and work a single crochet. Then we shall work 1 single crochet into every stitch all the way down, and you should have a total number of 5 single crochets. So once you have all 5 single crochets, you're now going to, like you can see, remember we are working on the opposite side of our foundation chain, so we get into the next chain stitch on the opposite side of our foundation chains, insert our hook in there and pull through, work a slip stitch. Then we shall work a slip stitch into the next stitch, turn our work. Now we are working our way back up along the single crochets that we previously worked. So you get into the first single crochet and work a single crochet in there, right? So you just continue working your single crochets all the way up, and you need to make sure that you have 5 single crochets I cut my clip short, but yes, you need to make sure that you work all the way up and have 5 single crochets. Now once you are up, you will now chain 1 and turn your work. We are now going to work all the way back down. If you have worked with me several projects, you know how to work this trick by now. You know how to work your waistbands. So here we shall work 1 single crochet into every stitch all the way back down. So you just work your 1 single crochet into every stitch right there. I realized I was going fast, so I kind of slowed down. So once you have worked all your single crochets that you need to have on this row, right, you will now get into the next chain stitch, like the next stitch on the opposite side of your foundation chains, and there you will work a slip stitch. To start the next row, you will work a slip stitch into the next stitch on the opposite side of your foundation chains once again. Then you will turn your work, right? And now we are going to be working into the single crochets we previously worked for our waistband. So you just work your single crochets all the way back up. Okay, once you have that, you chain 1, turn your work, and now you work 1 single crochet into every stitch all the way back down. Okay, then once you're back down, you work a slip stitch into the opposite side of your foundation chains, and once again you work a slip stitch into the opposite side, the next opposite side of the next stitch, like the next chain stitch on the opposite side of your foundation chains. And then after that, you will work all the way up, like working 1 single crochet into every stitch. So this is what you do repeatedly until you have worked into every stitch on your waistline all the way around, you know, until the end of the row. And next thing after that is clearly stitching together the ends of your waistband so that you close up your waistline. So I'm going to get back and show you how to put your lace onto your work, then we shall mark the end of this tutorial. So to add your lace up onto your shirts, into the lace up, the lace up holes that we created for our shirts, is we are going to make a slip knot and work several chains, maybe 200 or more, given how long you want your string to be. I personally later doubled my strands, and it helped me get a thicker string, which I was looking for the holes I had created, because I didn't want my holes to be too big for the string that I have. So to put them in, you are going to get in from the inside and, pass it through that lace up hole. Get this other end of your string and pass it through that second lace up hole, just like that. And now from here, we are just going to be just making sure that it's of similar length. So from here, we are just going to do a crisscross, a diagonal crisscross, because I want the X to be on top. Like I want the X to be on top. Yeah, so I just do that diagonal, running from this lace up hole diagonally to the next lace up hole, just like that. So I'll get this end as well and push it through this lace up hole. And this is what you just keep doing. Yeah, just make sure that it's creating an X on top, because that's what I'm looking for. So you just grab your string, the end of your string, to just get through like that. If you have a yarn needle, this will be very much easier. But I'm a very, very handy person. I forget about some tools. I forget about using certain tools when working. So yes, just get to do your lace up like that. And once you are done, you'll just make a knot. Then do the very same thing for the other side of your lace up until you are done with it. Then make a knot. And yes, you can try on your shirts. You can add a drawstring to the waist if you choose to have a more fitted waist or snatched waist, but to not contradict the lace that is going on with the sides of your shorts, you need to make sure that that drawstring ties to the back, like it goes to the back and ties there, so it leaves no sign at the front to show that you have extra strings that you're tying onto these shorts. But yes, that's how you make your lace up shorts, guys. Let me see you all in my next tutorial, which will be for this top that I worked for this very same short. So thank you so much for watching, guys. I love you so much, and goodbye.